Hey there, English learners! Welcome to ML's English Podcast, where grammar gets easier, clearer, and a lot more fun. Today's lesson is all about one of the coolest things in English. What happens when words decide to change jobs? We're going to look at when an adjective decides it wants to be a noun. So grab your notebook, stay focused, and let's dive right in. Okay, to get us started, let me ask you this. What do these two phrases, the righteous and the future, actually have in common? I mean, on the surface, they seem totally different. One's about a group of people, and the other is a concept in time. But grammatically, they're doing the exact same magic trick. And the answer is, they're both adjectives that are doing the job of a noun. This is such a powerful and honestly elegant feature in English. It makes our language way more efficient. Today, we're going to break down exactly how it works. All right, let's look at the word cautious. In the first sentence, it's just an adjective, right? It's describing the driver. Simple. But look at the second sentence. Here, the cautious becomes the driver, so to speak. It stands in for the idea of cautious people and acts as the subject of the whole sentence. This is the exact transformation we're talking about today. Okay, so the first and by far the most common way this happens is when an adjective stands in for an entire group or class of people who all share that one quality. You can think of it as a kind of grammatical shorthand. So the official term for this is a nominal adjective. And here's the most important rule to remember. When it refers to a group of people, you always treat it as plural. So you wouldn't say, the poor is waiting. You'd say, the poor are waiting. Why? Because the word represents a whole collection of people. And you see this all the time in famous sayings in literature. The rich and the poor aren't specific people. They're entire classes. Same with the wicked and the righteous. Using the adjective like this just gives the phrase a really timeless, universal feeling. Now let's move on to the next category. Adjectives don't just stand in for groups of people. They can also represent these big, abstract, intangible ideas. And here's where the grammar rule actually flips, which is pretty cool. Unlike the plural nouns we just saw for people, an adjective that represents an abstract idea is treated as singular. We're not talking about lots of beautiful things. We're talking about the single, big-picture concept of beauty itself. So in this sentence, he's not a lover of a beautiful thing. He's a lover of the beautiful. See the difference? The adjective has become a singular noun, representing the very idea of beauty. This works for other huge concepts too, like the future or the unknown. So far, we've seen adjectives kind of borrowing a noun's job for a little while. But sometimes they like the job so much, they decide to take it over completely. This next part is all about adjectives that have fully, permanently become nouns. This evolution from an adjective to a full-time noun usually follows one of three paths. It either starts from a place, describes a person, or defines a thing. Let's walk through each one. First up, proper nouns. This is one you'll recognize right away. Words like Australian, Canadian, and Italian all started out as adjectives, Italian food or Canadian culture, but we've used them so often to refer to people that they're now just regular nouns, and you can even make them plural. The exact same thing happens with adjectives that describe types of people. Words like junior, senior, and criminal were originally just describing words, but now we use them as standalone nouns. You can be a criminal, or you can talk about all the juniors in a school. They've made the full switch, and it happens with things, too. Liquid and solid can describe a state, or they can just be the noun for the substance itself. And here's a fun little quirk for you. Some of these new nouns, like valuables or eatables, have become so common that they almost only exist in the plural form now. All right, moving beyond single words, this adjective as noun feature is also baked into a ton of common English idioms and phrases. Learning these is a fantastic way to make your speaking sound way more natural and fluent. It's a real power-up. So when someone asks for something in black and white, they're not actually talking about colors. The adjectives black and white are standing in for the nouns ink and paper. It's an idiom that just means put it in writing formally. Or what about this one? For good. In this phrase, good has absolutely nothing to do with being nice or virtuous. It's an adjective that's taken on a fixed, noun-like meaning. It just means permanently or forever. He has left forever. And one last example for you, the long and short of it. Here, long and short are adjectives that are standing in for the long story and the short story. So when you put them together, the phrase just means the essential point, or in a nutshell. Now, just to show you how wonderfully flexible English really is, let's just briefly flip the script and look at the reverse situation. It's not just adjectives that switch roles. Nouns are just as likely to moonlight as adjectives. Check this out. On the left, computer is clearly a noun. It's a thing. But on the right, the word computer is now describing the type of games he's playing. It's modifying another noun, which is literally the definition of an adjective's job. And we do this constantly in English, usually without even thinking about it. A girl who lives in a cottage becomes a cottage girl. Games you play on a computer become computer games. I mean, just think about a history teacher or a kitchen sink. It is everywhere in our language. So what's the big takeaway from all this? What does all this word swapping tell us? Well, it shows that the rules of grammar aren't some rigid cage. They're actually really flexible guidelines. And words are these powerful tools that can change their function depending on the job we need them to do. And that brings us to the end. The next time you're reading or listening to English, keep your ears and eyes open. Now that you know what to look for, what other rule-breaking words will you spot out in the wild? Thanks for tuning in to ML's English Podcast. I hope today's lesson helped you take one more step toward mastering English. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a new episode. Have questions or grammar topics you'd like to learn next? Drop a comment below. I'm always listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and stay confident. See you soon.